morning.
Say the Pledge of Allegiance and start the meeting. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll consider for approval minutes and agenda.
Make a motion to approve minutes and agenda.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the minutes and agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. I'd like to remind everybody that we do have a resolution on file that we limit the discussion to 3 minutes on any agenda item from the public. So move forward with 9 a.m. that wonder to discuss Board of Adjustment rules. Morning, Pat.
Morning. Have you all had a chance to review the rules of the Board of Adjustment that they use to govern themselves?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a couple main concerns. One is their rules state they will have quarterly meetings, which is not happening. They shall elect a chairperson, I believe, at the first quarterly meeting, which if they're not having them, I'm not sure how they're electing that chairperson. And I believe that it would be the Board of Supervisors' responsibility to either make them have quarterly meetings or change the rules to fit the way that they're currently operating. And I have another concern is when appealing a zoning permit or certification, you appeal it to the zoning administrator, who is the person that has approved said permit. And would there be a better process? I mean, to who you would appeal it to instead of appealing it to the person that approved the permit that deemed that the zoning was correct. As a public, any member of the community can appeal a zoning permit.
Is that the way it reads to the administrator then?
Yeah, so I have to, and so I have appealed one zoning certificate and permit. And this has been in limbo, I think, probably since August. And part of the reason is because I believe the way that the rules read is those will come up at the next quarterly meeting. Well, we're not having quarterly meetings, and there's no time or days, how many days that there should be taken to look at the appeal in the current rules of procedure for the Board of Adjustment. So those are my main concerns.
Okay. Kelsey, would you have any idea if there's any other ways for the appeal process to work, or not without changing it?
Well, not without changing it. Obviously, you'd have to change the language of the rules. I mean, you can change the procedure to appeal to you folks, and then, so they're not appealing to the zoning administrator. They're notifying the zoning administrator of the request to appeal, and then the zoning administrator sets that up with the Board of Adjustment. So it's not like, I mean, it's just a procedural part, if that makes sense. He's not reviewing his own decision. He's just the one that gets notified because he's the one who made the decision, and then he has to initiate those proceedings with the Board of Adjustment. I know with this one that you did this last time, they had intended to talk about it at their last meeting, but they hadn't complied with all the rules for public hearing notice. And so I don't know if that's the reason for the delay. You'd have to ask Matt, but, yeah, so you certainly can amend it so that you guys get notified, but then it's on you guys to, reach out to the Board of Adjustment, get that all set up.
How do other counties do
I-
it?
No idea. I'd have to look.
My guess is it's similar.
It's probably the same
Same way.
rules that we passed,
I mean,
because those rules are pretty old, weren't, do you remember? when-
2003, I believe.
Yeah.
To me, that's not that old.
Like
Well,
Hardin
I was in
County-
middle school, so it feels old
I was
to
thinking
me.
they were way back in the 90s or something.
No.
I guess I almost expected it there to be a layer where they start at the Board of Adjustment, and then he can also appeal to the supervisors. That's not in there then?
I don't think so. So you appeal to, and I'm going off memory because I don't have the rules in front of me. You appeal to the Board of Adjustment. If the person's not satisfied with their ruling, then there's a procedure for appealing to the court system.
Oh, courts.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is another level.
Yeah, there is. Yep, above the Board of Adjustment. Yep, so it doesn't just end there potentially.
Right. Okay,
So the reason that they don't have quarterly meetings is because there's no business? Maybe?
That would be my best guess.
I mean,
I don't
I'm
know
that's
just-
what
that.
I've understood in the past.
Yeah.
Right, but it says they shall have a quarterly meeting, so to comply with it, you should say, we'll have meetings when necessary, instead of quarterly. I mean,
Yeah, and that'd be an easy change to make, or require at least one meeting a year or something, and then
That's
as
what
otherwise
To
necessary.
appoint a chair.
Yeah, right.
It's hard
So,
enough to get people to serve on these boards.
Right, you
It's
don't
so
wanna
long that they
inundate
have
them
to
with-
have, you know, a meeting every month or something like that, but, so as necessary, I guess we should change it to that.
Yeah, just with the one a year, like at the start of
with
the
the
year.
one, to appoint a chair,
Mhm.
you know, a way to, and then I think it'd be nice to know if that appeal process is clear in there.
well, I've asked, there's supposed to be a form that you are supposed to submit to make an appeal, and I've asked for that form, and I have never received that
Okay.
form.
All right.
And so I don't know if there's a form that exists or not, but I've never received that form.
My
So-
guess is one doesn't exist, or at least.
I've never seen one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So we need to create one then.
And can it be online then?
yeah, I
I
don't
would
see
think
why
that
not,
would be
as
the
long
best
as
way,
you guys
If it
could,
was
where it
just
to
directly
submit.
goes to him.
Well, then it could also alert, I mean, you could just have the email notification alert both zoning administrator and the Board of Adjustment, so everybody's sort of aware that something's on the radar too.
Right.
And you folks if you wanted to.
and that's my other concern is, to my understanding, a lot of the communication is being sent by text message, and so there's not a public record that, the way that there should be. So the communication should be going from the zoning administrator's official email, so there is a public record of all communications, not text message.
There's no legal requirement for that.
I know there's no legal
But if
requirement,
there's
public
ever-
record is,
If there's ever an appeal, it'd be easy to CC all of us, and then we're aware.
Well, and especially if you can set up the online version. I'm looking at Carla, but really I'd be looking at Brody.
Brody.
I don't know if our website is capable of that.
Just a submit form.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I'd be shocked if it's not, but
Yeah.
maybe it's not. So we could look into that. If that's not possible, then, I mean, yeah, you could CC the Board of Adjustment, or you folks, or both, with an appeal request too.
So could this also, any application for would be also online, and we'd be able to see who
So
applied for?
we talked about that before, because I suggested that we do some different way of like notification for when a permit is approved or issued, because then there is no issue of, well, people didn't have notice of it, because I know that was an issue before.
right.
I don't know if that went anywhere or not.
Yeah,
Because that would be my recommendation, is that, like, they all be online or
It'd have to be
some,
part of our rule change.
I think that would be.
yeah, that's more of a, just like an archive and notification, like if they have a section on the zoning portion of the website where all permits are uploaded there as soon as they're approved, or something like that.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah.
It would be,
And it's
and I think for
certainly-
you
it has
folks
to be
too.
possible, and I think that would be nice for us to be able to see
I'd like to have
who has
access.
applied
Yeah,
and who was denied and what
Right.
the appeals were, and, yeah.
And whether,
and then that provides like definite notice of the date, whatever date it's posted on that website, then you have 10 days from that date to appeal,
does,
or whatever it might be.
Carla, does Matt have access to, post something on his portion of there, or does he just send it to somebody to be posted?
Probably sends it.
He sends it to us to get.
Okay.
I think the last time he sent it to Chris to get posted, like to the, newspaper.
Okay.
Oh, for like the public hearing notice or?
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know if Brody's here, maybe we could grab him, because he would probably be the one that would know the answers to those things. Sorry, Brody.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah. Talking about your favorite topic of the Winnebago County website.
Okay,
So with zoning portion of it, first, would it be possible to have like a submit form somewhere on the website where if they're appealing a certain decision, they can just fill something out and it goes to zoning administrator, board of adjustment, board of supervisors? Okay, that's what I thought, but, and then,
so we would have to make the form
but that, the
and it would
website
probably
should be
be
able
more
to.
like they download it, they can fill it out, and then they can just, it can say on the form, email to, like, I don't
Okay,
know if it would, we'd probably have to pay to have the company that hosts it, like, create a way for that to work automatically.
Okay.
Submittal, you mean?
Yeah,
But even if it had the
but a
form.
very like generic, like download the form, fill it out, and
And
it
here are the
tells them
email
where to
addresses
email
to
it,
send it
that
to.
would be,
I think
Easy.
fillable PDF would be
Yep.
fairly.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it was, like, if we wanted to upload the zoning, building permits from the zoning administrator, is there an easy way for like Matt to do that, or the zoning administrator to do
I
that,
don't
or?
know, I don't know, I guess I don't know what Matt's, like, if you'd be willing
Capabilities.
to, I think it would be easy, like, we could set that up,
It'd be
but,
just posting a PDF of sorts.
Okay,
But
We did the
you-
ordinances, my office did it for or maybe it was when I was the zoning, I don't know. But
okay,
we put it on the website for that office.
yeah. Okay, so it's user friendly as far as that goes though, like if he wanted to learn how to do that, I don't know that he wants to do that, but if somebody is
I would
like
say it should be
designated to do that,
fairly,
easy, okay.
anything else? Good, okay,
Alright,
alright,
thanks.
yep,
Don't go anywhere.
okay.
It just did that again, so I don't know if there's something that you can do to fix that, or
Do what?
it just, I don't know, it flipped and then it came down over here and,
Oh, I didn't see it.
no,
Like a
I just,
connection went off.
I don't know what's going
I
on.
feel like that's probably the only thing that can be happening. I didn't see it.
Okay,
I can sit in here for a while.
yeah, if you wanna just sit. Okay,
So is that something that we can research then with Brody and Matt and see if it's doable?
Possible.
So our to-do list on the Board of Adjustment side of it is the quarterly meetings.
Amend the rules for that.
And,
And we should review all the rules, then if we're going to amend that part, let's review everything to see if there's anything else that needs amended while we're already doing it, so we had to do it all at once, and I can look and see if anything jumps out at me.
And I thought it was the Board of Adjustment should set their own rules, so the Board of Adjustment would be responsible for doing that, is my understanding of reading it.
Yeah, so the statute, I do believe, says the Board of Adjustment would amend their rules, but I would help them with that, so I would still draft same as I would for you guys. And obviously, if you guys have any suggestions for those rules, that's still relevant as well.
I think they
Do we ever approve those rules, or they just approve them themselves?
You know, I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that, just because obviously I wasn't involved the last time they did the rules in 2003. I don't know. Do you have a printed copy?
I have a printed copy of their.
Could I see it real quick? I just wonder who it says approved by on the back. So they just have it signed by the Board of Adjustment chair. So my guess is I'm just guessing that they just do those, thank you,
Yeah.
do those themselves, but I'll double check that before we
Yeah.
finalize anything.
Not that we have a problem here, I don't think there's any nefarious
Yeah.
intent anywhere, but it just seems like that, if you had a road board of adjustment or whatever, you would want someone above that held responsible by the voters to
Some oversight.
okay it.
Yeah,
And it kind of puts it into the public eye a little more too when it goes through the supervisors. I don't know if we can change them and we just,
I mean, even if you just review
yeah.
them and, yeah, you could still have it on your agenda regardless to look at the new proposed rules and discuss.
Non-actionable, but
Yeah.
discuss.
Right. So that'd be doable
So
regardless.
that- then it'd be in our minutes and we could search it at some point.
Yep, if you needed to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you have anything else?
No, that was
Okay.
my main
All
concern,
right.
so.
Well, I appreciate you bringing this up to
Yep.
us. Hopefully we can move forward with positive actions on it.
So from my standpoint, I'll start amending those rules. I'll get in contact with the Board of Adjustment and see if there's anything else we should change at this point too. And then you folks are gonna handle with Brody and everybody the whole, appeal process and getting permits on the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want us to develop the appeal, but that should be up to them to do the appeal
Form.
form.
I mean, I can work with Matt
Yeah.
on that, cause
Right.
it's easy for me
You
to
could probably
create.
find one on another county website.
I'm sure we can, yeah, we can
A lot
probably
easier to do
plagiarize a
that.
little bit, yeah. So I can work on that too if the form. Yeah, okay, just so I know what exactly
All
I need
right.
to be doing.
Is that it then?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks, then.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, number 3, auditor's office to discuss drainage matters. Yes,
I don't have anything for you today.
you guys have anything for drainage?
Nope.
Okay.
I just know I'm waiting for diggers.
Yes, always. You guys have a good Thanksgiving.
Right, thanks. Scott Minder's engineer will discuss secondary road matters. Morning.
Morning. I'll just check the connections up there after.
Okay.
Just touch on the Sunnyside gravel pit progress. We have about 60,000 ton in the pile, so that's going really good. We're kind of getting to the, getting home stretch, I guess, of the gravel deposit there. So, I need to take a visit out there today and kind of get with them about how we finish up out there. They moved their stacker yesterday to make a little bit so that they could move the pile a little bit so they can get more material stacked up there. I sent you guys a little bit of information here this week about our strategy out there in terms of the material we're making and how it helps us in the future. If you want me to go into that in any detail. But as we talked about, we're mixing 80% gravel from the deposit with 20% of the crushed limestone material from Fertile. The material we're hauling in is a range from 1 inch to 3/8 of an inch. So it's a coarse material compared to what we put down on the roads,
So is that without fines then?
It's without fines. They call it pipe bedding. So it meets a few different specs. Usually it's for, laying concrete pipe. It's the material you put down below it. A lot of times when you're working in mud or underwater, it's a kind of material that doesn't have the fines that get so slimy when you work in those conditions. So that's usually when we're crushing gravel, the size of particles that we are often lacking is the bigger ones. So we're amending it to make an ideal material. And while it does cost some money to haul in that limestone, it's such a small proportion that we gain in the overall cost of the material compared to hauling in roadstone from Fertile entirely.
And you feel like it's gonna be as good a binding agent as the stuff that, the fines that come with it normally?
We like to see, it's a little technical, but passing the 100 and 200 sieve is the really fine material. Sometimes you like in limestone, I wouldn't say it's as sticky as in gravel, or is more of a clay binder, and you need that material to help glue it all together. But a lot of times we can get that on the roads if we are able to blend what's out there with what we haul out
Just
there.
gets worked into it.
Yeah, if what we're looking for is a clay, but in a kind of disbursement, not chunks of clay. Like if you were to, dig it out of a hill and then put it through the crusher with the gravel, it would never feed through there. So you're looking for kind of it's kind of like a marbling in beef, something that's like intrinsic to the material. This has less of a clay content than our Lewis pit does. So, and you can kind of see that maybe a little bit in the color, where this is a little bit more cocoa color than it is red. So the gradations are a touch fine on the very low end, passing the 200. So I'm hoping that we don't see that in the behavior of the material. Is that not really a way to amend that part of the gradation other than adding like bentonite?
Yeah.
And
I don't think we want to go to those costs.
yeah, I mean, it works in research, and it's been proven that it can be effective, but there isn't really an economical way to do that unless it's found in the byproduct of another mining operation. There are some mines that use like liquefied bentonite, or that's the byproduct of their process, and we don't have that anywhere
Where's the
nearby.
nearest bentonite around here? I know I've used it before in ponds to seal it off, but
Sure.
I just don't know where it came from.
Yeah, I don't know either. There's so much that happens after you put it on the road that even if you get to optimum gradation, it's so quickly, the dust blows out of it as the traffic drives on it. So the surface gradation constantly changing, and you're constantly reincorporating it into the roadbed. So you can only be so perfect with it, but we try to get as close as we can to optimum gradation when we put it out there. So I guess I'm just making sure you guys are, in support of what we're doing out there. I think we've recommend that we officially delay our sale date to next fall of 2025. It will give us a chance to complete the crushing, push the strippings back over the pits, and kind of shape up the yard, get half of our material hauled out, and then by next fall we would sell it with another year's time to remove the remaining piled material. So at that point we'd be kind of done with the entire farm area, the pits and everything, and just be the yard with a pile on it that we'd get hauled out in the following June, July, August.
How's that coincide with our current lease on farmland?
The lease is canceled, so
Okay.
we would need to find it. We would probably
Temporary.
extend the lease to our current tenant. We would approach him anyway. We haven't talked about that, but, I think that'd be I don't know, you didn't think that'd be the fairest way to do it?
Is that 50 acres?
Or so, yep. I mean, this year, the farmable amount was much less than that, but there's,
What
Wow.
was it in last year? Corn or beans?
this year is in corn.
So it worked. It would work. I mean, they wouldn't have had to put any fall
I see.
fertilizer in.
Sure. So if you guys think it appropriate, I would just approach Bryce Aquas about extending his lease a year.
I think so. You
So
okay
how
with
does
that?
this all align again with any payments that will need to be made?
Sure, for the new project. Well, you know, then in the initial schedule, we thought the building could possibly be up by now. And once it was won by Kingland, they had a different idea about the schedule. So we'll have a much later need for money. We'll be having some payments probably over the winter and through the summer and fall probably. So I think it lines up fine.
When was the contract end completion date?
For the
Building?
building,
Was that September?
I can't remember the exact date, but basically end of the construction season. You know, the timeline it works fine. We don't have any deadline to get out of the old buildings. We just, you know, needed to have a plan in place so we didn't sink more money into the old buildings. I think it works fine.
And probably more within the budgets, the revenue, and we just have to borrow from ourselves until that money comes in, or,
Yeah, I mean, remember, we have 800,000 that we had in the budget,
so that's the start.
you know, and
That's
of
gonna
course, we've spent some money out there with our own equipment and fuel and everything, but, you know, the labor hours and the equipment hours, you know, they're not for their money that we already would be paying in a way. So some of that budget is more long-term than it is immediate needs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Depreciation on equipment and reorganizing our guys' time to spend it there rather than other projects which would have been pushed off.
Anything else on the roads?
Informational email that you sent us, did you include Troy in on that?
I didn't, so maybe that's a question, is how, if I should follow up with him with all that information, or,
You share it with him so you can see what we're doing and what good it's doing the county and what your intent is for, you know, what you call it? Gussying the place up when you're
Sort of
done.
restoring the property.
Restoring, yeah.
yeah, I can share that with him. I know he's
Be interested in the timeline, I'm sure.
been following the issue closely.
It was pretty clear in there what the benefit to the county is.
Anything else? That's all I have. Okay, if you guys have any questions for him? All right, we'll move on to consider for approval easement for public highway from the Rice Lake Golf and Country Club for 235th Avenue, Center Township, Section 24.
Got 2 action items on this already with Isaac Walden and Iowa DNR. Now this is the last of the easements for the access road that runs from the east-west county blacktop south of Rice Lake all the way up to the clubhouse. this is really a majority of it covering several acres, about 3.35 acres. It's a 66 wide swath that was surveyed long ago, and we had the survey retraced, and now we'll have this officially recorded to kind of clean up some discrepancies. And they've been signed by the golf course, and now they need to be acknowledged by this board.
Last time we talked about whether you had shared this with that Friends of Rice Lake group. Were you able to have done that? I think you have their emails.
Yeah, well, I have an email for Paul,
That's
No.
good enough.
and I don't think that I did send this information to him.
I just think at their next meeting, it would be good for them to know that those are in place.
Yeah, okay. I can do that. I'm not sure where that note went last time. Apologize for that.
That's all right. Just trying to keep them in the loop.
Yeah. There's 2 easements here, Terry, and then each of them has a signature block that has a recommended by, that'll be my signature, and then an approved by, which will be your signature, and then Carla will help me fill out the notary part.
It's under the recommended by,
That'll be my name. Approved by will be your name.
all down below.
Yep, at the bottom.
Well, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve the easement for the public highway from Rice Lake Golf and Country Club for 235th Avenue in Center Township, Section 24.
I'll second it.
Motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the easement for public highway from Rice Lake Golf and Country Club for 235th Avenue, Center Township, Section 24. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Just get used to writing 2024. Okay, open forum. Dave Fox, if you wanna, since we have open forum, would you wanna mention anything about your homework project?
I can, you just want to hear a little bit about
Yeah,
the
just-
program?
Everybody's listening.
Okay. So it's a community construction program. The loans are up to 283,000 of that. They review it every year. I think it went up from 230 some last year, or 250 to 283 right now. It's a 12-month loan at 3% to construct a new house. It's more for nonprofits, whether that's economic development groups or counties, cities, to put up a spec home, and then the hope is get it built and sold in that 12 months, and the new resident in it would refinance it, long-term refinance it with the bank or whoever. And to just to kind of spur new housing, since that seems to be a problem in every town. It is a popular program. I think it's working, I guess. Metro County's got a couple going on. And there's been other applications, so it is limited funds, so at some point it's going to slow down, but with that 12-month cycle, it should, every year they should be able to loan out that same amount of money.
They plan on revolving it for at least a couple of years.
Right, yeah, I think it was, I don't know I can't remember what changed for sure, but they were doing down payment assistance and stuff like that, so they've kind of switched gears, so I guess I don't think there's an end date on it at this point, but that's always subject to change, I guess. you're not the only, I think it was asked, somebody's asked anyway about doing, and it'd be a great idea, but I think the funds, you gotta have more funds to use it for, older houses or something that, somebody moves out of in town and to remodel and resale would be a great idea, I think.
I know, we were looking at, trying to save our acreages out in the country.
Right. And even the ones in town, even those houses in town.
So how do people find out about that? Who do they contact? And
You can contact me. Homeward Inc. is a website. It's
So that'd be Dave Fox at Heartland Power.
dfox@heartlandpower.com, or call the office. And you can go to the website, Homeward Inc. It's governed by Region 12 is who operates the Tammy Lehman at Region 12. They can reach out directly to her also. Because it's 9 different electric cooperatives that make up Homeward. So it's not just a Winnebago, it's not just a localized, it's spread over quite a few counties.
Well, I just kind of felt like it was a hidden opportunity.
Right.
All right, thanks. Anything else for open forum?
I have. You probably saw the flags out at the law enforcement center. Jeremy did the call one, and he's been out there. Jeremy Ruggles has been out there. And he says if nothing has changed from when you guys met with him out there a year ago, probably now, he has materials ordered. So it's moving.
The neighbor called me.
What?
Wanted to know what was going on.
The neighbor.
Mr. Strand.
Technically, he's not the neighbor.
Well, all right. His girlfriend is.
So, if there hasn't been any changes from what you guys discussed with them standing out there the last time, it's
Shouldn't be.
moving forward.
Now, there is a intent to put a tile along the north side, right? To drain that.
Yeah, that was the original discussion. Yeah. So that would affect that side, hopefully for the better.
Should make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if anyone sees that he's mobilizing and is out there, then I think it would make sense to make sure that we stop in and all the issues are being looked at again.
Okay.
It's good to have somebody in the near future be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let Kevin keep an eye out for me.
We were planning on removing a section of sidewalk, weren't we, to get a downspout in there, that's what we discussed.
So those are some of the details. I asked Jeremy and he said, well, if nothing has changed since the one last time, I said, well, it'd be nice to meet him out there.
Or do we want to just shoot it across the sidewalk and let it go to the end?
Is it a busy used sidewalk, that part?
No.
No,
In the back there?
Side there's not a lot of traffic back there, I would guess.
Oh,
We're hoping it, if they don't sneak out the back door.
But then
Yeah,
they'd
yeah.
slip.
Yeah, in theory, they shouldn't be going out the back door. Yeah.
Well, if you see them mobilizing out there, just somebody make sure that they,
I can try and keep track. Let you know when he's there. I don't know, it might be simpler for right now just to leave the sidewalk there and just make sure we got an elbow, get across the sidewalk.
Yeah.
makes sense.
Keep him working rather than have to worry about the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else for open forum?
Something else, but might have to come back to it if I think of it.
All right, consider for approval county claims.
I'll make the motion to approve the county claims.
Second.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensel to approve the county claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.